Welcome back, everyone. Today was a fun day, I'm sure, so I want to welcome you all to the Bitcoin Miners Investor Support Group. We're here to support each other. Some of our miners did not do as well at Bitcoin today. We'll be talking about all that. Okay, I'm just having a little fun with you guys, like doing that little support group here because sometimes it feels like it. But what did we have today? Bitcoin was up nicely today, almost reaching a new all-time high. That was fantastic. We got really close to it. Some of the miners did well. Some of the miners did not too well. So what the heck is going on with the miners? Why didn't they perform as well as they did yesterday? We'll get into that. We'll talk about it a little bit as well. And then we really don't have any news stories other than Bitfarms providing a statement that they are nominating a new person for the board there that they're going to be voting on November 20th. So that's coming up next month here. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. We'll go over that, who the person is there. Looks like a really good get by them also. And yeah, that's basically it. And then we'll get into your guys' Q&A. So it's easy day today. Okay, but as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research, please, please, please. And then also full disclosure down below that. If you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. But let's get into what's really happening today. It was Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, the previous all-time high was 73,835. We came really, really close to that today. We got to a high of 73,624, so roughly about $210 shy of that number of getting back to the all-time high here, which was pretty nice. I mean, we had a really nice day today. We were up also 4% on the day. We were up yesterday 2.92, so today was actually a better day than what we saw. Yesterday, we saw the miners ripping, right? So let's talk about the possibilities here of what's going on with the miners and Bitcoin itself right now from what at least we're seeing here. Let's go that way. All right, so the miners, for the most part, were mixed. Bitfarms was up 5%, BitDigital was up 2.7%, CORZ was up just a little bit here, 0.7%, Hive was up 4%, Mara was basically flat on the day, Riot was up a little bit here, 2.94% as well. And then we had quite a few of these guys that were actually down. Some of the smaller miners actually did pretty well today. Argo and Digihost were both up 9%, Stronghold was up 3%, almost 4% there, and any was up just 2.65%. So why did the miners not perform as well as Bitcoin did today? Well, sometimes we have to take a look back a little bit, zoom out on the time scale of things, see where the miners have come up recently. In the last maybe a couple of weeks here, we can look at that as well on these guys if you guys want, but I'll just give you guys my thoughts on it. Miners are up tremendously in the last probably 4 to 8 weeks compared to Bitcoin. So that's one there, right? That's possibly one. So you got some profit taking happening there. You might also have some of these companies with the ATMs. You know, they're selling into strength, and that's maybe what's keeping the stocks down today. I mean, we saw huge volumes on a lot of these guys, and yet the price movement wasn't there. So that could be a possibility also. You know, the ones, like I said, that have ATMs are selling into the strength as well. Then you also have some maybe rotation happening in the space as well. That could be part of it, you know, where we saw Wolf selling out a little bit here, along with IREN, which would have been up quite a bit here recently, along with Bitdeer and Cypher as well. And going into some of these other stocks possibly down that were, you know, not as up as much as some of the other ones. Some of the smaller guys here could be. So some rotation there, some like rotation to Bitfarms, because Bitfarms was up today quite nicely, and it did really well yesterday as well. I mean, yesterday was up 12%. Today was up a little bit, 5% as well. It was almost up like another 12% on the day as well. So there's some profit taking here, I think. And then also maybe Bitfarms selling into the strength here and pulling some ATM out of it as well. If we look at also MicroStrategy here, that's down below. They were only up 1.4% today. They were also up much better yesterday. They were up 8.96%. Today they were only up 1.4%. We saw some selling here as well, pressure on that one. So there's a couple of things that might be leading to the miners underperforming. This is not something new. This is not something we haven't seen before, at least, or at least I've seen this before many a times when Bitcoin's ripping higher and sometimes the miners just pull back. You know, people are taking profits. There's traders out there that trade these guys, and they're looking to take profits on those things. Companies looking to raise more capital. That's another part of it. So it's all a combination of things that are happening here. It would be an issue, I think, if we saw this kind of trend where the Bitcoin was going up and the miners were actually coming down in price for, let's say, several days or something like that. Then I'd be, okay, what's going on here really? But right now, it's just one day. We were up huge yesterday. We needed a little healthy pullback in those miners, a little healthy pullback in Bitcoin as well, which we're getting a little bit right now. So if we look at Bitcoin here on the 15-minute chart, you can see that it's been bouncing off of this. I think this is the 50. Well, on this, it's showing the 50 simple moving average, I think, on it. But it's bounced off of it here, bounced off of it here. We went below it here. We've done that in the past as well. You see we bounced here multiple times while going up here. This is back to yesterday as well. And then we were below it here on Sunday as well, a little bit. Came down to the 100 simple day moving average on the 15-minute chart, bounced off of that, and we continued to go up higher. So could we come back down here and touch the 100? Possibly. So we're looking at maybe 71,815, somewhere around there, before we continue the march upwards, continuation of it, possibly. So that's kind of why I titled the video Noise, right? All the noise out there, where you're hearing all these people, and they have good intentions, I think, for the most part. It's just they're concerned. They're seeing Bitcoin going up and miners going down. So it's like, what is going on? So there's a lot of frustration, I think, in the space today, not only on Twitter, on the private Discord server that we have, and chats, everywhere. Everybody's like, what is going on? So zoom out a little bit as well on some of these guys here. Like Cypher here, if we look out at Cypher to look at the weekly, look at this. It's had a huge run up here recently in the last couple of weeks. It's up roughly from where it started rallying up to where it ended up today. It was up 100%, right? In the last, what is that, 6 weeks, 5 weeks, roughly. So huge gains there, right? Let's take a look at Cleanspark here as well, from where it was as well. That one, let's just go from right around here, up here, 57%. CORZ, I mean, CORZ is just a monster. CORZ, we don't have a timeline on, but let's go back about 5 weeks or so. It is up approximately 34% as well. That's 4 weeks roughly. So it's doing really well. IREN, same thing. Let's go back to where it was over here on that one. If you zoom out on it, it is up. Was up, well, at the top to this week was 72%. So huge gains there. Who else? Wolf obviously had huge gains as well. Recently, it's from the pullback, it was back up to about 90% here in the last 3 weeks. A little bit less than if we go by like 5 weeks. So zoom out a little bit and see where things are at from a certain time point. And if you look at Bitcoin here, Bitcoin the last couple of weeks here, what has Bitcoin done? Let's go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go from here up to here. It's up only 23%. Have the miners outperform Bitcoin? Yes, right? So just relax a little bit. Be patient. We are going to see these types of rotations happening and miners not doing as what we expect them to do. But in the long run, if you zoom out, they're doing exactly what we thought they would be. They're outperforming Bitcoin by at least 2 to 3x for the most part, right? Some are lagging. We know that as well. But I think they will catch up eventually, especially if Bitcoin continues to go up beyond the all-time high. We get into 80, 90,000, 100,000. We're going to see some huge gains in the miners here. So just be patient, I think, okay? So there's that. We covered that pretty much. Then also wanted to show you guys the network hash rate here on the 30-day. This is continuing to go up here tremendously. It's up to almost 700 exahashes. It's at 693 exahash right now. Huge increase here in the last couple of days that we've seen here on it, and it's starting to go parabolic a little bit. The reason for that, Bitcoin price is going up, meaning some of the older machines that might not have been profitable at lower prices of Bitcoin in the 60,000s are now starting to become possibly profitable again. So those might be getting turned back on as well. Miners are also installing more machines, so that's having a contribution to it as well. Public, private miners all around the world are probably installing as well. So that's all contributing to it also. But with Bitcoin going up, it's going to definitely bring in, I think, more hash rate that was probably turned off for a while because it wasn't profitable, but now it's becoming profitable again. Okay, so there's that. And then let's take a look at what we got here. Oh, that's what I used for my little screenshot. Okay, on the monthly timeframes for Bitcoin, Bitcoin's up about 14% right now in October. This is kind of playing out what we saw back in 2016. If we look at it here, up 14%, we're really close to that as well. That in 2016, in September in 2016, we were up only 6%, we were up 7%. So that's kind of playing out the same way right now. November, last time in 2016, was only slightly green, right? It was up 5%. Could we have the same thing happening here in November this time around? Possibly, we don't know. But based on the halving events when those happen, and then 30% in December, so that'd be actually really good if we did that. That would probably get us closer to, oh, what would that get us to? If we're at 70-some thousand, I'd just say we're at 80,000 maybe by the end of, or early November, get another 5%. Well, we're looking at there around 80-some thousand, 30% gains on that would get us close to 100-some thousand roughly, right? If I'm doing the math right in my head here. And then check out the next year after that, right? The year after the halving event. 2017 is when we had huge gains. We were up 23% in February, 32% in April, 52% in May, 10% in June, July 17%, August 65%. Then we had down September, and then October 47%, November 53%, 38% in December as well. So definitely something to look forward to if this is a similar cycle that we had in the past. In 2021, we had 14%, 36%, 29%, and we were down for a couple months here. We know what that was. That was a ban on Bitcoin mining in China and Tesla not accepting Bitcoin anymore for FUD reasons. Then July, we had a pretty good month along with August, and then October was really good, and then we pretty much topped out there and we went down after that. So I'm hoping it's a similar cycle that we had in 2016 and 2017, because that would make it go much higher than where I think Bitcoin could possibly go. But only time will tell on that. All right, so that's it on that. Let's take a look at Bitfarms here. So Bitfarms nominates Andrew J. Chang for election to the board of directors. Company is going to hold a virtual special meeting of shareholders on November 20th, right? So that's the date. So I was correct in yesterday's video. I said I think they changed it over to November 20th. That is correct there. Let's see here. So the company today announced that it has nominated Andrew J. Chang for election of its board of directors at the special meeting of shareholders to be held November 20th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Bitfarms special meeting of shareholders pursuant to the settlement agreement between the company and Riot Platforms back from September of 23rd. A special meeting of shareholders will be asked to approve an expansion of the board from 5 members to 6 members to elect an independent director nominated by the board to serve as the 6th member of the board to ratify the company's shareholder rights plan, So you know all that. Let's see. Shareholders and guests can access the virtual meeting using this link. Additional information regarding this special meeting, including how to vote, is available via proxy material disseminated to shareholders by Bitfarms and as filed on SEDAR+. Okay, so let's talk about Andrew here. So nomination of Andrew J. Chang. So Bitfarms Governance and Nominating Committee conducted a thorough director search process and held interviews with several qualified candidates, and along with the board, unanimously supports the nomination of Andrew J. Chang for election at the special meeting. Okay, we don't know what Riot's take is on this. They might chime in on this in a day or so. And then Mr. Chang is a 20-year veteran of the technology industry with experience as an investor, operations executive, entrepreneur, and advisor. He was the founding partner of Liberty City Ventures, a leading venture capital fund. Mr. Chang also served as chief operating officer at Paxos, a blockchain infrastructure platform that has powered solutions for PayPal, Stripe, and more. Okay, so definitely a lot of experience with blockchains and things like that. At Paxos, he helped grow the team from 8 employees to 190 employees and launched the first regulated blockchain-focused trust company and first regulated stablecoin in the United States. During his time at Paxos, he raised $500 million capital, and its most recent valuation is $2.4 billion. Okay, so that's actually really good there. Small, but good. Before joining Paxos, Andrew served as lead strategic partner development manager at Google. Oh, that's a mouthful for a role there. Working in business development for display ad products. So I'm guessing AdSense. Prior to that, he was the chief operating officer of Condition One, and an associate of Techstars New York. He also has experience managing innovation and research, analytics, digital media at WPPC PLC owned Kantar Video, and at 360i, a digital marketing agency. Okay, so he's got an MBA from New York University, Leonard N. Stern School of Business, and he was the president of student body and a Bachelor of Science from Boston College. So a lot of experience there, a lot of good stuff. I think this is a good get for them if they get it passed through. But we'll see, right? So, like I said, we'll see what happens later on this week. We got 2 more days to go. Bitcoin is doing a lot better than what I was thinking it's going to do, so that's good. That leaves me more positive in the long run, I think. All right, so let's get into your guys' Q&A side of things here, and we'll see what else we got to talk about here. All right, let me catch up with some of the comments and questions here. Let's see what we got here. Okay, there, let's see. Roz asks, or questioning, when Mara and Riot will stop ATM and when short selling will stop. Short selling is good or bad for miner stocks? I mean, I think they play an important role in the process, right? You don't want to be too overly bullish and you don't want to be too overly bearish as well at some points. And I think that's kind of like a yin and yang in the markets. You need bulls and you need bears, and bears are basically shorts. So you need them to kind of bring the price down, which sometimes we enjoy because we can buy more at that time. So I think it's fine. As far as when they're going to stop shorting, I don't know. Probably when Bitcoin gets over 75, 80,000, maybe that's the point we're going to dial back the shorting a little bit. If they're smart, they would. If not, they're going to get wrecked. But that's kind of where I would think they would start to or stop shorting at that point. And when will Boron Riot stop the ATM? Oh gosh, that I don't know. They're going to pull on that when there's good volume and everything else. So I don't know. Okay. Let's see. What makes a gap in the chart graph? That would be a gap from where it ended the night before and where it started basically in the morning. If there's a gap in there, you got a gap. Okay. Let's see. IREN ATM could announce fully funded to 40 exahash and use profit from rise in BTC to fund to 50 exahash. Potentially. Yes. Okay. MicroStrategy has been front-running BTC for over a month now. Yeah. Okay. B-Side says, I have a question. Would you choose your girlfriend or Bitcoin? Okay. That's a tough. Is your girlfriend beautiful? And is she kind? Is she basically supporting you and all that stuff? If she's supporting you and all that stuff, then she really shouldn't be making you choose between Bitcoin and being with her. But if you're spending also a lot of time, all your time on Bitcoin and markets and everything else, okay, that's maybe why she's making you choose, right? You got to be able to do multiple things. You can't just do one thing. And if you want to have a relationship. Okay. 97 says BTC has been better to me than the girlfriend. Depending who you get. If you get a nice girl, that's all worth it. Okay. Question. At the rate the miners are moving, I doubt they will reach their previous highs once BTC hits 100,000 or above. I think miners will have a hard time to previous highs. What's your take on this? I think a lot of them actually have a chance to get to the previous all-time highs and maybe go above it. That is depending on Bitcoin. Bitcoin would have to be at that point over 150, 180,000, closer to probably 200,000, I would think, in order for that to happen. So if that does happen, then yes, I think they will reach their previous all-time highs. There's also a different story with them this time around. They have a lot more hash rate. They have also a lot better balance sheet. They also have a lot more HODL. That all contributes to it as well. Hi, Seb, can you comment on the 300 million extra shares approved by Cleanspark board for their dilution ATM? I get the growth, but seems like it affected price majorly today. It's been affecting their price probably over the last 3 months. I think when they first came out, they're going to be increasing the number of shares available to them to use down the road. It's not 300 million dilution right away, right? They have basically, you could say it's almost like a debit card, the way it works, right? They started out with like 50 million shares. They increased that to 100 million shares, and they increased that to, I think, 300 million shares over time. And they've been slowly using that to pull on through the ATM. They're increasing their basically credit limit or debit that they have to 300 million, an additional 300 to 600 million now of shares. But it's going to take time for them to use up that whole dilution through those shares. I'm thinking it's going to be more like 5 to 7 years before they go through the 300 million shares that they are adding to their coffers, basically. And the reason I say that is because it's taken them about 3 years to go through about almost 200, 250 million shares. And they were much lower priced. If they're better priced right now, that means lower dilution for us because prices hop higher on the stock. Okay. Cleanspark to 50 says, some are disappointed today because several miners have had a disappointing 2024, several still in the red or barely positive. In the red as far as gains or price gains, or are you talking about actually profit margins and things like that? Okay, let's see. When are earnings for Bitfarms, 4th or the 12th? There is so much PR that can be announced for an increase in exahash, net new miners, T21 replacements, SDIG, Paraguay, etc. What news do you think they announce? Well, we should get the production update for October on Friday, right? Friday is the first day of the month. Because Bitfarms is usually the first one to report that. They're like clockwork when it comes to that. First day of a business day on in the new month, they put it out there basically, I think at 7 or 7:30 in the morning. So we'll find out what kind of exahash growth they've had there, and then their earnings. I thought there was something about their earnings. I know it's coming up here as well within the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure 100% of the date. Okay. Super Diagnostics says this cycle won't be the same as other cycles. How could it be with current adoption? There ain't enough Bitcoin, imminent squeeze. Yep. That could be. That's always the driving force. There's the supply and demand. If there's less supply and a lot more demand, it's going to move the price up. But it seems like the ETFs and things like that are getting somehow their Bitcoin through over-the-counter OTCs. Not sure how they're doing it, whether they're getting it from the miners, private miners, or however that is. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Jason Less is going 20% on Bitfarms. I think this guy is a step ahead of us. It's a win-win for them. I've said that before. If they buy the company out, it's a win. If they hold on to the shares and the stock does, 3 to 5x from where they got into it, well, they're going to be up on it anyways. Let's see. Eddie says the more people short miners, the higher they will go once BTC rips and short squeeze occur. Yep. Okay. Eric says Seb is now Dr. Phil. A skinnier version of Dr. Phil. Let's see. Riot or Bitfarms, I would say they're both undervalued right now, I think. Riot, I'd like to see them increase their operational uptime, and Bitfarms, I'd like to see them actually grow their hash rate. So there's two things against both of those right now. But the hash rate growth, I think, is easier fixed than the operational uptime. All right. Now what else we got here? Okay. Now, where is it at? Anthony said that he thinks BTC would need at least 5x from here for the miners to hit all-time highs. Thoughts? Oh, no, I don't think so. We're going to need to be that high. From here, you're looking at 350,000, right? If I'm doing my math right. We're at 70,000 right now. I don't think so. Once the miners start going up and Bitcoin goes up above 150,000, 180,000, I mean, you're going to get so much FOMO into the miners. They're going to be, printing money left and right because their profit margins are going to be so much better. So we saw that last cycle. We saw that the prior cycle with some of the smaller guys that were, trading at that point. So I'm thinking we'll do the same thing. Yes, there's a lot more shares outstanding there, but there's more capital flowing into these guys. We got more interest from institutions, BlackRock, all those guys. They're all pumping it. People are going to be pumping it. So I think it's still possible. Okay, let's see. Ed says Bitcoin is almost at all-time high volume or 3x the average volume. What on earth could move Bitfarms up? I feel touching Bitfarms 52 weeks high is not foreseeable in the near future. Good news on the hash rate growth. That could do it. Let's see. What is my favorite movie? Oh, gosh, I have a bunch of favorite movies. I love Forrest Gump. That was a fantastic movie. Also love The Gladiator. What else? Other ones. There's a bunch of movies that The Batman Returns. Right? Was that the Black? Not the Black. Was that the Black Knight? Black Knight, I think it was. The first one that came out with. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the actor's name right now, but you guys know who I mean. That one was great. There's a bunch of great movies. There's just so many. Let's see. Did Ben reach back to you? No, I haven't heard back from him yet. The Mining Pod interview was such a waste of time and BS. I thought it was insightful as far as the energy and things like that. But I would have liked to have had them ask the question, what's your hash rate? Where are you at right now? And stuff like that. Riot's earnings release is tomorrow. Okay, that's going to be interesting there. We'll have something to talk about tomorrow then. Okay. Let's see here. Huge volume for Bitfarms today. Yeah, we saw huge volume for a lot of the miners. Let's see. Okay. One thing didn't make sense when Bitcoin much lower. Cleanspark was 24. Now BTC at 72. It's at 12. What's your take on that? Okay, that was before the halving event. The halving event had an impact on a lot of miners. Also, them getting the 300 million additional shares, that doesn't help. So that's kept the stock down as well. And then we also had the hype on the HPCI play that came in right around that time as well, right around the halving. And we saw companies like Wolf, Cypher, Core, rocket because of that, because they fed into that narrative as well. So that's kind of my take on it. I think once Bitcoin starts going up more, they're going to do very, very well as well. Okay. Let's see. The all-time high of Bitcoin in the U.S. around 70K. In Canada is close to 100,000. Yeah, I saw that it went above 100,000. That's awesome. Okay. What would be Hive price if BTC goes to 100,000 this year? I mean, that's only 30% away. So I think somewhere around maybe 2x, somewhere around there, 1.5 to 2x, I think, for Hive. Let's see. Would you like Michael Jordan to join the Bitcoin miners? If he has something to... why would Michael Jordan go to Bitcoin miners, though? Would you want him to invest in them? That'd be kind of cool. Okay. And at what price for IREN if BTC is 100,000? Same thing. I mean, IREN, I think, is going to catch a little bit more, so I'm thinking maybe 2 to 3x from where it's at. Possibly somewhere around there. Okay, let's see. Especially I'm afraid Bitfarms will announce a massive ATM in November conference call. Don't make sense with the current low price of $2. What's your opinion? They haven't used up their current ATM, I don't think. So they got to go through that. They could offer another one if they wanted to, I guess. There's nothing really stopping them, but I think with Bitcoin going up, it would be possibly a good time to do it, if anything. I mean, the balance sheet is really good right now. They have Bitcoin on HODL as well, so they have that. So that's all going to go up in value for them. We'll see. I'm not against dilution through an ATM or anything like that, as long as it's used accretive and used for growth. Okay. Seb, there was an article about China launching a 1.4 trillion stimulus soon. Do you think that should push BTC price upwards? Probably, right? If the people are getting it, it's usually means risk on assets will do good. Chance of Bitfarms getting to $10 to $12. I think those are good chances. Sana, I'm not going to get into geopolitics and wars and things like that. There's other channels for that. You guys can watch that. If you really want to know my thoughts, then I'll give it to you, but I'd rather not. Let's see. Andrew says, I chose my girlfriend over my first, second, and third wife, but gave her the boot this cycle. All right. Let's see. Eddie says, today feels eerily similar back in March, April, when Bitcoin was all-time high. Miners were beaten. Then a few months ago, by vice versa, miners went to 2.5x while BTC flattened. Patience. Yeah, you gotta have patience. Should we wait for Riot earnings to sell before the earnings tomorrow? I don't know. They're going to have... Okay, I should caveat this. Depending on how much share-based compensation they put into it, they should have not bad results, actually. Their revenue was up from Q2 for Q3 based on my numbers here for the Bitcoin mining itself, not including anything that they got from power credits and things like that. So that is a plus there. So I'm not sure. But I don't trade it based on earnings or anything like that. I trade it, I buy and I hold and I sell when things are getting really frothy. PR. With dilution rampant and half the rewards post-halving, do you still think 3 to 7x for the miners is really possible? If so, why? Thanks so much. Yeah, I still think that is possible. Only reason it's actually less than what it was prior cycles. Right, last cycle we had Marathon up 70x. We had Riot like 40 some x. We had other miners were up 20x, 13x, 15x, whatever it was. So they did really, really well from the bottoms. This cycle, I still think that's the case, especially with Bitcoin going up to, but Bitcoin has to go above 150,000 at this point in order to see like 37x. So as long as that happens, I see that being a possibility. Okay. Hi, Seb. Really positive movement on Bitcoin. We've seen this early miner movement preceding BTC before, and we shouldn't expect a linear relationship. Very excited for November. Yeah. Okay. Gary says, Jordan joining the miners would be a slam dunk. Yeah. He says, Forrest Gump is one of my favorites movies as well. Lives like a box of chickens, and you never know what you're going to get. Just like today, I was expecting miners to rip. Yeah, some great metaphors in that movie. Let's see. Artful, good morning from UK. Good morning. Let's see. Okay. Do you see Cleanspark valued at a premium again? It seems they were valued for their execution, but not so much now. They will catch a bid, I think, going forward. Do I think that they are overvalued right now? No, I think they're actually undervalued right now. Let's see here. Thanks, Sebastian. Great work. You're very welcome. Thank you for coming in. What else here? Market's waiting on October numbers and should be excellent numbers. Yeah. Okay. Just like Cleanspark did on Good Friday earlier this year, talk about a rug pull. Well, it's down a little bit. It wasn't down that much. Go back a little bit on the time frame, and you'll see that you're probably still up on Cleanspark depending when you got into it. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how you realize where you are right now? How you realize where you are right now on a scale of 1 out of 10. I'm not sure what that question is. Let's see. LOL, politics is fun. Give your opinion on Russia-Ukraine situation. I'll give you guys a short opinion on it. I don't want to get too political here. But, gosh, you guys probably know that I'm from Europe. I was born in Poland, actually. So I lived through communism and things like that at a very young age. So I was very thankful when my dad was actually able to move here to the United States, right? Reagan, I think Reagan was one of the best presidents that we had here in the last probably 40, 50 years or so. So Reagan was tough on Russia, right? Tough on communism and things like that. And Russia had, after the Iron Wall fell, they had promise of becoming a democratic country again. And things were trending that way until Putin came in. Putin was actually part of KGB. He was in there. He was at Germany when the wall actually fell. He thought that was the worst thing that happened to Russia. So he's trying to live out his imperial ambitions and make Russia great again based on what he was taught and learned in the past, and so forth, so on. Okay, a little history on that. I think Putin's a little bully. Sometimes you need to smack a little bully upside the head and put him in his right place. Because if you don't, he's going to continue to do this, and he has done this in other countries as well. And with him threatening World War III right now, I think it's just a empty threat. He knows that if he tries going against the NATO or United States or anything like that, he's going to get his butt mopped across the floor. So it's just trying to put a little fear into people, right, to make them think twice about letting certain weapons be used by Ukraine into Russia there. We'll see how it plays out. I see it as an empty threat, actually. That's just the way I see it. I could be wrong in it, but, a lousy boxer has a good punch every once in a while. I think that's one of the things, or what's another terminology for that as well? If you corner a rat, he's going to fight, something like that as well. So you just never know. Okay. Should we add Bitfarms before earnings? I'd like to add more, actually, at this price. I'd really love to. I'm just out of cash right now. So I'm sitting on the sidelines, unfortunately. But I'd love to be adding more. What do you think of Matthew Siegel? Trying to think if he's been on any spaces that I've been on. I'm terrible with names. If I don't deal with somebody like on a daily basis, I'm terrible with names. I know he's on X, and he does some posts there. I'm just drawing, can't think of the post that he has. So I really don't have a positive or negative thought on him right now. Bevney says people need to chill about miners. LOL. Yeah, they'll go up. Yeah, be patient. Hey, Seb, according to what's holding back Cleanspark to rally, it's way too undervalued at current price. It is undervalued, yeah. So is Riot, so is Bitfarms, so is IREN right now as well. Eventually, I think they will rebound and take, I'm hoping that they take the top positions again, being for most overvalued possibly. Okay. What if the last bull market cycle was muted because of FTX, Celsius, Gemini, 3AC, cash settled futures? That's also a thought there, right? But FTX didn't come out until later on. It was all started with, who did it all start? Like 3AC, I think was the one, right? Luna crashing, and then kind of, you saw what people were not wearing any clothes once the water ran out on that one. But I don't know if that was what caused it. I think what caused it was Bitcoin going down in value. They were just so leveraged on it too. Okay, what do you think of VanEck equals HODL ticket? I haven't looked into that one, so I'm not sure. Okay. Hello said, when 160,000, please exact date. Exact date will be on October 5th of next year at 4:53 p.m. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. Is MicroStrategy a better play than the miners? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Recently, we've seen that it's been a better play, especially as Bitcoin has been consolidating, right? It's been going down, up and down, up and down. It's been a better play at that point. But once Bitcoin starts really rallying, going up to new all-time highs and things like that, that's when the miners actually are better for that part. Okay. You said Cleanspark would years to start diluting the extra 600 million shares. Not the extra 600 million, it's extra 300 million shares. That was approved today, but they are already diluting at this rate. Even if BTC reaches over 150,000, highly doubt Cleanspark reaches 60 to 70. They're still diluting the latest ATM that they had for 800 million. That was back in March, I think it was. So they're still not done with that one, possibly. If what we're seeing today, with the price being down on Cleanspark and others, are they using the ATM? Possible. But depending on how much they pull on it and how much they have left on it, we'll get that information once they report their quarterly or annual results for that. So, but I still expect the next 300 million to be used up in like 5 to 7 years. Okay. What's your personal opinion on Israel? I don't know enough about that whole conflict there. I just don't know. So I'm not going to even mention or say anything about it because I just don't know. I'm not educated on it. I don't have anybody that's impacted by it. So I have absolutely zero right now knowledge on it. So sorry. Okay, VanEck equals Matthew C. Okay, that's possibly where I saw the name, but I feel like I follow him on Twitter also. Maybe it's somebody else. Let's see. Oh man, Bitcoin hit all-time high, but miners don't even move at all. Bitcoin didn't reach an all-time high, depending on which source you're using. I'm showing that we're off by about $200 today. And I think I'm using Coinbase. Let's see, recent news of Riot buying more shares of Bitfarms. What's your opinion? They are relentless. Where was that news? I know they're at 19.9%, something like that. But they have an agreement not to buy any more than that. Okay, let's see, SH says, when stock double, the daily volume and the pride goes up usually means a breakout is coming. Bitfarm fits that description and is going to break out higher and higher. Okay, that's cool. That'd be great. On a serious note, when Lambo? Never. I'm not buying a Lambo. It's a waste of money. Let's see. Greenidge. Greenidge I covered about a year and a half ago. I think I covered them for a while, and then they stopped reporting their monthly production updates, and that's when I stopped covering them. So I don't know how they're doing right now. Any chance we set an all-time BTC high in 2024? Yeah, I think so. I mean, we were close to like $200 today alone, so we still have 2 months to go in 2024. Yeah, we're going to break that all-time high. Let's see, wasn't Luna after FTX? No, FTX was later. I believe it was later. Okay. Do you like pineapple and pizza? No. Okay. How likely out of 10 is 10 to 12 for Bitfarms? I would say like a 9 to 9.5. Okay. Godspeed to all-time highs and beyond 25 will be legendary. We're all hoping for that. Bitfarms 6 doable? Yes. This year, maybe not, but next year, yes. Let's see. Cleanspark and IREN at 30 by February. Depending where Bitcoin goes. They're not too far. Cleanspark's only, that'll be like a 2.5x for it. So I think that's possible. IREN's a little bit lower than that, I think, right now. So, but I think it still might be possible. Okay, 997 says I'm going to rotate some MicroStrategy to miners soon. That might be a good way to go. Let's see here. I'm waiting for financials and buying more the stock with BlackRock, which BlackRock or Vanguard bought more in the last quarter. Is it smart? Is it smart to follow those guys? They get it right a lot of times, not all the time. But yeah, I mean, if you follow those guys, just do more research into the companies themselves. Don't just follow blindly. What is your favorite car? Lambo, DeLorean, DMC 12. For me, it would be like the Shelby Cobras. If I had to buy one, something that's just fun, I'd love to also get like a 1960s pickup truck. I thought those were really cool back then, with the wooden bed in the back. I just thought those were awesome. I'm not into like these sports cars or anything like that. I like simple luxuries. I'd be happy with a Lexus or something like that. All-wheel drive. I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with a nice pickup truck too. I don't need much. Okay. But do you think Cleanspark will hit still 60-70 at this rate of dilution? BTC surpasses? Yes. Well, we'll have to wait to see what the dilution is after the report, the quarterly results, right? Right now, I'm basing it on the numbers that I have currently. But if those jump significantly, then we might be down to, like, at that point, 55 to 65 maybe dollars. I might be thinking ahead. But we'll have to wait and see. Forget Q3 earnings. I'm waiting for those juicy numbers for Q4 earnings next year in 2025. That's where the fun begins, possibly with higher Bitcoin price, higher earnings, and new announcements. Yeah, I think this whole next year is gonna be fun, especially as Bitcoin starts going up higher. Bitcoin house is gonna be valued higher. They're gonna be generating more revenue, better profit margins. All that stuff is gonna be helping the stocks go up. What is the top mid cap miner? Do you recommend top mid cap? I mean, the mid cap. Let me see if I can pull this up. Let's take a look at the market caps of these guys. Where is it at? Here it is. Okay, so we're actually on the screen. So here's from today, right? The latest numbers that we have. That will change once we get the quarterly results and we get the updated number of shares outstanding. But right now, this is what we have to go with. So mid cap. Are you looking at, like, I would say maybe IREN. IREN's at only 2 billion, right? It's pretty low. Who else is there? Bitfarms, I would say as well. Cypher is going to have some good growth. Hut 8 right now is kind of iffy for me. Not a lot of growth in Bitcoin mining. More, they're trying to be. I don't know what they're trying to be actually. So we'll see. But those are the ones I would kind of think about. TeraWolf, right? Still riding that hype on HPC AI. No announcement on that yet. So that one's kind of high though, I think. But IREN, I would think. Bitfarms. And Cypher as well, I would think. Those are, if you're talking about mid-cap, smaller guys. If you're talking about the other smaller guys that are like below 500 million, those guys, I don't know. I gotta do some updates on those anyways. Okay, let's go back here. Okay. What do you think Cleanspark will reach if BTC caps at 150,000 at this rate of dilution? Well, I need to see the rate of dilution. How much do they dilute? It's tough to say. 150,000, I would say they're going to be probably close to, I would think, around $50, somewhere around there. But time will tell. So, Sebastian, what are your thoughts on buying Bitcoin mining companies such as Bitfarms, razor thin margins? They all have razor thin margins right now, the last couple of quarters. So I've been buying it. As much as I can, along with Cleanspark and IREN the last couple of months. I'm strapped for cash right now. Otherwise, I'd be buying it still. Let's see. 99.5. That's financial advice, Seb. If Bitfarms don't hit 10 to $12, your fault. I'm holding it till then. What happens if they get bought up by Riot under 5? Do you still hold me to it? Right. Do your own research, as always. Don't go by a YouTuber with no hair and a giraffe in the background. Do your own research. What else we got here? Trump win to pump miners to all-time high or sell the news. I wouldn't sell the news, right? Because what if you sell it and it actually goes up? We still have a long ways to go. We still have 9 to 12 months to go before things really finalize where we're going to be at. So I would still be patient. What was the name of Jacques Cousteau's first boat? Oh gosh, I have no idea. What else here? I think we're getting close to the comments here. I'm trying to see if there's any questions. Okay, what time frame do you suspect you'll be out completely from these miners? Is it still yeah, that's going to be late Q3, Q4 sometime. That's the plan, at least right now. We'll see how things play out. I can't foresee that far into the future. We'll have to see what's going on with Bitcoin miners, right? Do we have a pullbacks? Do we continue to go up slower? That's all going to change my thesis and where I think I might exit out. But right now, it's somewhere in Q3, Q4. Okay, SH says, it wouldn't surprise me to see Bitfarms at 6 or higher this year if they meet their operational goals and surprise us with positive news. Wolf moved from 2 to 7 in a couple of months when everyone doubted. Yeah, but that's different. Wolf was based on HPCI, right? There's a lot of hype around that right now. Companies that are talking about it are getting a bid on it. So that's what's driving that one right there. We also had Duncan Miller invest in them as well as somebody else. So you had high-profile people that invested in that, which drove more people to invest in it as well. So we would need something like that possibly to do that. But I would love it if they got up to $6 this year. Any update on the FTX repayments? I don't have any updates on that. I wasn't part of that. I didn't have anything in FTX, luckily. Also, Mt. Gox postponed their repayment until October 2025. Is that good or bad for BTC price? Remind me on Mt. Gox, was people going to be getting the Bitcoin? Were they going to get Bitcoin, or were they going to get the cash equivalent of Bitcoin? If they got Bitcoin, I think this might be good that that's postponing it until October, which might be at the peak right there, right? If we peak at that point, people get coins from Mt. Gox at that point, they're going to be selling like crazy. So that could be a catalyst to actually look into getting out at that point. Let's see. Sana says, you're overlooking Hut, but they always pumping hardcore, not going to lie. They've been doing really well, yeah. And that's also with them talking about HPCI. We can talk probably for an hour on Hut alone. Okay. Just don't get why after 4 cycles there's still a bull run. Surely the market is now aware and invested prior to a run. Well, some people, not all people, there's still people that are clueless to Bitcoin miners, and what's going on with it. So I mean, we're still very, very early on it. Okay, what else we got here? TeraWolf is super overvalued and are only having this jump in stock price because of billionaire Drunken Miller, I think it was one, started buying back in August. Unlike Wolf, IREN has almost ready and efficient data center up. Well, the data center that they do have for IREN is not like a tier 3 data center. They would have to retrofit it to get to that point. And Wolf is working on building out their 20 megawatt, I think it was, data center on that one. But yes, they did get a high profile person to invest in it, and that caused other people to get into it as well. Jim says, I think realistically, BTC will hit max 125 to 150,000. Cleanspark will peak between 27 and 35 max. You can thank Zach and Matt for that. I can't believe they didn't even buy one share of their own stock. Why buy when you're getting it? Right? So I still think that's too low. I still think Bitcoin is going to go north of 150,000. My original target from about a year ago, year and a half ago, was about 180,000 this bull run. And I think that might play out, because then it would be only from the 69,000 where we had a previous all-time high in the previous cycle. There would only be approximately like a 2.8, 2.7x in that time frame. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Okay. Okay. Classic, I'm not sure. My apologies. I meant Bitcoin hardware companies such as Bitmain. I would have to go back to your question. I'm sorry. Okay. Santa says, you're my financial advisor. Ain't nobody got time for research. You got to find time. Especially if you're investing a lot of money, you really need to have the time to do it. I know it's tough. I'm balancing work, family, this, everything else. So you got to find the time. Okay. All right. Fundamental question. What makes the BTC go up? How can this be predictable? It's not predictable. There's a power law. You can look at that. The power law is pretty close to predicting where Bitcoin could possibly go. The thing with Bitcoin is what the supply is going to be, and over next 100 years, right? You know what the supply is going to be on it going forward. So you can calculate it for things like adoption, more or less. You can look at are we getting more adoption, right? Basically, our banks are going to own it. You got countries basically having it on their balance sheets now as well. Companies, everything else, right? So you can kind of see where things could go with supply and demand. It's supply and demand economics, basically 101. If the supply gets cut in half of something, the demand is still there, the demand grows, that price is going to go up on something. So that's basically it. Let's see. There is just no underlying asset, right? I wonder, well, the underlying asset is the blockchain, securing it by the miners, right? They're doing that. You also have nodes out there, everything else. You got transactions happening, all that stuff. I wonder who how manipulates the huge fluctuations in BTC, deciding uptrend, downtrend. You got whales that possibly do that. You got institutions in it now as well. So, right. Do you think hybrid miners like CORZ, IREN, or Wolf, who does expand on AI HPC, will be able to hedge against bear markets or BTC price declines with steady cash flows with contracts? Yes, I do think that the companies especially like Core has a huge contract with CoreWeave there. They're going to be making, $400 million a year or something like that on it. So that should insulate them much more so than some of these other guys that have customers that are only, 12 million, 20, $30 million a year, whatever it is. But Digital has a contract that's almost 100 million there. So they might be, but they're more going to HPCI. But some of the other smaller guys, some of the other guys that are getting to HPCI as well, they would need something similar to what Core has with CoreWeave. And then at that point, if Bitcoin goes back down, 70, 80%, I would expect Core to maintain its price much better. It might still go down 30, 40% or something like that, but don't expect it to go down like the 90% we've seen with miners in the past. That's at least my thought on it right now. Okay. What's a fair market cap for Bitfarms with BTC at 73,000? Let's see, where are they at right now? Bitfarms is at 1 billion. I think double. I think it should be like 2 billion right now, to be honest. Based on that, where they are with their mining and everything else, I would say somewhere around 2 billion. Okay. Let's see. B-Side says, I love Edward Scissorhands. I read you and feel that you have no idea what you are talking about. Okay. You're more than welcome to that opinion. I've been through these cycles. I've been a miner as well for 5 years. I've been in the basically trenches of Bitcoin mining. I know how it operates. So definitely, and I do love the movie Edward Scissorhands. That was a good movie too. Okay. People still ask me, what is staking rewards? Yeah, there's still a lot of people that are new to the space. Let's see, why did you skip my comment? I would like your thought. Sorry, Jim, did I skip your comment? I'm just going back and forth sometimes, and I might miss something. Okay, I talked about that. About Cleanspark, 125. You're thinking about it's going to go to 27.35. I covered that. I'm a little bit behind on things because things pile up here. Hold on. Where am I at here? Okay, hot take. But every crypto, meme coins, poop coins will eventually go to zero against BTC, the greatest asset on earth. I don't think they'll go to zero, but they will definitely not perform as well. Sorry, delete the previous comment. Yeah, okay. Okay, how sure are you out of 10 that Bitfarms will get to 10 to answer the question? I will answer the question. I did answer the question. Okay. Do you recall the HPC megawatt capacity for IREN, Cypher, and BitDeer? Capacity for IREN. IREN, I don't think they stated how much they could. They're saying that they have a lot that they could convert over to, plus the future megawatts that they have there. Same thing with Cypher said they have a 300 megawatt site that they bought recently that could be used for HPC AI. BitDeer also said that they have, I think, a couple hundred megawatts that they could possibly put to that as well, but I don't have anything written down. Okay. Eddie says, I believe IREN data centers are tier 3, which is the tier below the best, but still that's really good, especially for a $2 billion company. Takes a lot of effort and strong management to pull off. They don't have tier 3 data centers. They don't have the redundancies, and they don't have the redundancies in connectivity, so internet, power, and they don't have cooling there right now. It's all air cooled right now. So it's not a tier 3. I would say it's probably like a tier 0 to a tier 1 at best. Okay. Let's see. Knew nothing about Bitcoin until April of this year. I have done my research and am sold. My only regret is not knowing sooner. A lot of people have that same regret. But it's good. Good to have you in here. Good that you got educated on it. Okay. I'll pull back for MicroStrategy today at 2:30, please, to come down a little bit. Okay, let's assume Trump wins the election. How would you guess tariffs would impact the dollar and Bitcoin? That, I don't know. I'm not an economist on it. I wouldn't know how that would impact it, but I would think if we get tariffs, wouldn't tariffs lead to higher inflation? Cost of goods would go up then, right? So, I don't know. Let's see. Jim asks, regarding my comment earlier, you don't find it suspect when they are doing no share buyback and only selling diluting. Okay. You would have to go back and unpack a lot with regard to Cleanspark here. So Cleanspark, I'm going to take their word for it. They said that they had a plan in place back in 2023 where they said if Bitcoin or if their stock gets to like above 20 some odd dollars, they would sell at that point, or they would have a thing that to sell, right? And some certain amount of shares. Their stock got above $20. They were basically had to sell at that point. And then as far as them buying it, I mean, how many, there might be only a couple companies where the administrators are buying shares, but the rest are not on it. And so I don't find it suspect. They've come from basically being a no name in this space to being one of the highly regarded miners here right now, right? One of the top miners, actually. Not far behind Marathon right now as far as hash rate is concerned. So they've done a tremendous job from getting from 100 petahash, which is what they bought back in January of 2021, to now being at 30, what are they at, 30 some exahash right now as it is. So they, by my thoughts and thinking and standards, I think they have done a fantastic job. Let's see here. Plan B should have a nice update next week. Yeah, I follow him too. If you guys don't follow him on Twitter as well. Let's see. I just stumbled on an old video of yours where you show a power law chart. The price as per power law for the cycle is it's 150-ish, 180,000. Yeah, but that was before I came up with the price 180,000 before even knowing about the power law. Let's see. Riot's results tomorrow, what to expect? I don't know. I think the revenues are going to be up. I know the revenues are going to be up from Q2, so that's good. Will they be in the green because of that? Not sure. We know that Bitcoin was up a little bit in Q3 as well from Q2, so that should help with the FSB rules. Any update on their uptime efficiency? We might see something there. We might not get it until they report on October numbers, which would probably be next week sometime. Let's see. And as always, thanks for doing this and putting up with BS that comes with it. Yeah, it's okay. I'll see your upcoming Bitfarms monthly update, good or bad news? To be honest, I hope it's good news. We need good news. Sebu, feeling good about the rest of the week? Right now, I think I am. Where's Bitcoin at right now? I think, let's see, let's go to the daily on it. I think it's looking okay. I'm not a chart guy, but based on what I'm seeing here, what I've seen in the past, I think it's still looking pretty good here. This is the daily. If we look at the 15-minute chart, it's bouncing around the 50 moving average here on it. It's done in the past for it as well. We'll see if it goes below. It might come down to the 101 here and then bounce off of it like we have back here. So I think we do need a little bit of healthy little stall or a pullback a little bit in order to continue going up higher. I mean, We were close. We were so close to that all-time high here today. We didn't get there. So we might be knocking on it a couple of times here before we actually break through it, which I've also seen in the past. All right, going back here. And we're going on almost an hour and a half here. Let's see. How many more do we have here? Okay. Jose says, thank you for blessing us with your knowledge, especially aka the mining analytics goat. Thank you. It's just what I've learned over the years. I've been in this space since 2017. So that's going on 7 years now of mining Bitcoin, investing and researching these companies here. And it's really a blessing that they provide us with monthly updates, because that way we can really track to see how they're doing and get a good understanding of how they're improving or not. Super Diagnostics says 100% agree. Cleanspark at top alpha, private jet or not, top miner. Yeah. Okay. Another posted comment on Cleanspark dilution on Good Friday. They went from 24 to 18 after hours. Essentially, that's 25% dilution. I was going to sell 30% of my shares that day, but girlfriend dragged me to church. Okay. So let's see. So if they keep diluting every time it reaches around 20, then how can we trust Cleanspark will reach 55 to 250,000, especially with the newly approved extra 300 million shares? Okay. Depending on how much they dilute, when they're selling, they're not selling like 30 million shares all at once. They're selling like 1 million shares here, 1 million shares there, whatever it might be. At certain times, sometimes they might be selling a little bit more. But like I said, it took them like 3 years to use up 200 million. Do you think they're going to use up 300 million shares in a year, especially with the price being up higher from where they were back then when they were building out in the bear market? Stock price was going down to $2 or less than $2 even. They were diluting a heck of a lot more then than they are right now. So that's the way I look at it. Let's see. Who is Plan B and why should we follow him? Plan B has the stock to flow model, right? And he's been in Bitcoin for a long time also. Provides a lot of good information. He's recently started also providing videos on YouTube. So take a look at him. He's got some good stuff on the charts on Bitcoin and where things could possibly go. Private says another very good day for Bitfarms. We need a lot more of those. Hopefully November, December will be great for them. And BTC thoughts, hoping the same thing, right? It was a good day today. We need a lot more of those. What's the most undervalued miner currently, in my opinion? That would be, I still think it's Riot, Bitfarms, Cleanspark, IREN. I think those guys are the ones that are undervalued the most. Benny says you're a goat. Appreciate you doing this. Oh, you're very welcome, and thanks for coming in here. I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. You guys and the Patreon members, you guys support me, and you guys let me do this. So I greatly appreciate you guys. Which miner do you think will have the best monthly numbers? Secondary, best monthly numbers. For Bitcoin mining, it's going to be close between Marathon and Cleanspark, I think. I think Cleanspark's supposed to be getting close to like 630, somewhere around there for this month. Marathon was lagging a little bit for whatever reason. I'm not sure exactly why. But those two are going to be battling it out here. We'll see. Let's see. Thanks for the update, Seb. You're very welcome. Looking hot today, Sebastian. Oh, thank you very much. I don't know if hot like as in I'm hot, like I'm red. It is getting a little steamy here with the light. And today was a warm day here in Illinois. It was in the 80s, so it's a little warm. Let's see. I'm thinking of selling all my Cleanspark tomorrow. What should I buy instead? Cleanspark, to be honest. I think Cleanspark is still way undervalued from where it should be. They're getting to close to probably 37, 40 exahash this year, getting to 50 exahash probably early next year as well, and they're going to have more growth as well. If you're up on it already, depending when you bought into it, I would hold on to it. I am. Let's see. Is Mara outperform? Will Mara outperform going forward? I think so. Okay. All right. Now, who will announce lowest cost per coin for energy in October? That's going to be between probably Cypher, I think. Cypher, IREN. Who else could be in there? And depending on the power credits that Riot gets, it could be Riot also, I think. Okay. Let's see, any insights into who are the big shorts for these? Don't have any insight on that. Thanks for a great show. Again, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming in, as always. Sadie says, I find it hard to believe they are tier 1 data center. I checked it up. It's between 2 and 4. Once fully built, Childress would be a 3. Also having it at 1 is quite low, especially if they want good contract. They are not. I will. When I spoke with Dan about their Childress facility, he even said that it's not a tier 3 or a tier 2. It'd be maybe equivalent to a tier 1 or a tier 0. If you look at their pictures of the facility themselves, they're just basically barns, long barns. You got air coming in one way, air coming out the other way. That's the way it's designed for Bitcoin mining, right? They are better designed in respect to megawatts per rack, I think, or was it whatever they call it, kilowatts per rack, whatever it might be. They're designed better. That way they can handle more power demand in each rack if they do it, right? But they have the optionality to then also enclose it, do whatever they need to do, put in the chillers, all that stuff. But they don't have the redundancies. You need the redundancies to be a tier 3, and they don't have that. What else we got here? Thoughts on IREN class action lawsuit filing coming in late. Did you discuss? Is that the one with the short reports about them not having the proper or hyping up their HPCI possibilities at Childress, right? I think it's frivolous. Stock price might drop. I don't think so. I think it's already it's been in the news for a while. Okay. Plan B completely flunked last bull run. I give him no credit and have no interest in his comments. It flunked for a lot of people. A lot of people were thinking Bitcoin's going to go to 100,000, right? It didn't happen, but it's still, if you look at his charts, it is trending in that direction, right? With adoption and everything else. Okay. I have 40,000 shares I will unload tomorrow. I think I will just buy Bitcoin. Okay. At least BTC doesn't dilute. Yes, but you're not going to get possibly 3-5x on Bitcoin, or not, maybe even higher. What about their DC and Kenda? Has to be 3. Don't see them being at 1. No, it's not a 3 either. I don't believe it's a 3. I think that one is also like a 1 possibly. And the reason that they're getting contracts for shorter term is because they don't have that, but I think Dan explained it one time on an X Space. I was going back probably now 4 or 5 months, so my memory might be a little off on this, but I could be wrong on that, but I don't believe it is. It seems Bitfarms cannot reach $7 even once stock goes all-time high. Riot will sell their portion until bear market, then start to buy whole company again. Do you think about that? So that is a possibility, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, that's the one thing that's kind of a little overhang on it. Time will tell. Private says, hit the like button, guys. Around 260 watching, should have a lot more likes. Easy way to show appreciation. Yes, I agree. Thank you. Thank you for reminding everybody. I'm not a great salesperson for myself, as you guys know. Let's see. Okay, Woody says, filed today. So, IREN, there's a new lawsuit filed today, maybe. Let's see. Hi, sorry for the stupid question, but what is a data center and why do miners build them, and how can that be used for AI companies? AI companies, they require a tier 3 data center. So data center is basically a big building where you put in a bunch of computers, servers, everything else. Those need to have redundancies in power. So if power goes out from one, you have backup generators or batteries, whatever it might be. Well, you need batteries probably, and then backup generators on top of it. You also need redundancies in cooling. So you need to cool the facilities. You can't have just air flowing through them, dirt and everything else. They're a lot cleaner than Bitcoin mining facilities are. And you need redundancies in internet. So if internet goes down in one provider, you have a backup provider as well for redundancy. So typically you want different lines of internet being connected. So that's basically a tier 3 data center. With Bitcoin miners, it's basically just a long building, depending on how they design it. It could be short building. It could be just those pods that they can put in as well. but it's just basically taking air from one side of the facility, one side of the wall, and you're pushing that air by the AC miners with their fans to outside, and you're just circulating that air. That's it. That's all you're doing. There's nothing, no redundancies there. If power goes out, you don't have to worry about it because you're not affected by anything. So that's just a quick take on it. Okay. All right, Sour Melon Gaming. Gotta go to bed. People can ask you more questions tomorrow. Go to bed. Well, I'll go to bed some. Okay. Yeah, it's getting close. We'll do another couple minutes. I'm catching up here. Let's see. Eddie says, "Day my soul is crushed. Thought they were 3. Kind of sad for them to only be 1. We'll have to wait and let them build out." Yeah, they're gonna have to build out just like everybody else is gonna have to build out. None of the miners have tier 3 data centers right now. CORZ is building out, or not building out. They're actually transitioning their data centers into a tier 3. That's why CoreWeave gave them like hundreds of millions of dollars in order to do that. They didn't even have the money to do that themselves. Wolf had a 2 megawatt pilot, I think that they did. Now they're doing a 20 megawatt pilot. Who else? I think BitDigital has tier 3 now because they bought some. And then Hut 8 might have some data centers, but I don't know if those are tier 3 in Canada. From when they were Hut 8 before they merged with the USBTC, they bought some data centers at that point as well. So they have some there that I'm aware of. Okay. Let's see. Don't forget, kids' diamond hands are for mugs. Take profits. Yeah, absolutely. You got to take profits. Learn my lesson from last time. Jim says, "Thank you, Seth, for taking my questions and comments. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming in here." Nicholas, thanks very much. You're very welcome. What else we here? Perhaps Riot would sell a huge position like through a desk OTC representative instead of possibly. That is a possibility as well. So it'd be great to be like a fly on the wall in those meetings. Okay. Which one of the closet to bring tier 3 and building out other than CORZ? Which one's the closest to bringing it to a tier 3? I kind of talked about that, right? BitDigital has bought now a facility that's tier 3. Wolf is building out something that's going to be possibly, I think it's going to be early next year. Who else do we have there? Actually, CORZ does have a tier 3 in Texas. That was an HP facility, I think it was, but it's small. And CoreWeave is utilizing it right now. But all these guys have to build out. Do you think there was some suspicious volume and price action going on today? Some miners had 3x plus average volume and didn't move much in price. Well, that's why we're thinking maybe there's some dilution happening here with the miners using the ATMs in good days where there's a lot of volume. You would normally have good volume, so that could be that. Thanks for your work and have a great night, you two. Thanks for coming in here. We're going to close it up here shortly. Did you lose money on miners last cycle? Sorry, please don't take the question. No, absolutely not. Yeah, I'm very open about it. I round tripped last time. I didn't lose money. Well, if I sold more towards the peak, right around 69,000, but everybody was saying Bitcoin's going to 100,000, hold on to it, everything else like that. Okay. So I learned my lesson then. If I sold at that point, I would have had like 65,000 more in profits than where I was when I sold what I had back last year in November. I had Hive at that point. And then this cycle, I've been buying a lot more of Cleanspark, IREN, and Bitfarms. I've had some CORZ, also sold some CORZ here recently. So I don't have that one anymore. But yeah, definitely would have had more if I done that. Let's see. I feel like BlackRock, where someone called all these miners today and told them to unload their ATMs. Yeah, maybe. It was a strange day. We've seen this before, though, so it's not out of the range of possibilities with Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners here. All right. I'm all caught up to your guys' questions. I greatly appreciate you guys coming in here. Tomorrow we do have Riot reporting their quarterly results, which will be interesting to see what those are like. So that's tomorrow. We'll have 2 more days. So on Thursday will be the last day of the month. Friday will be the new day. We'll get updates from the miners, probably Bitfarms. Maybe somebody else will report as well. So the fun is starting, right? Be patient out there. Don't get too discouraged if things go down a little bit. We do have these cyclical things in Bitcoin where we do have price going up, but then it does have to come down a little bit in order to have a healthy run. Things can't go up forever. So last cycle we did see, what was it, like 10, 20% pullbacks a couple times before we reached a new all-time high. I expect the same thing to happen this time around. So just be mindful of that, okay? All right. We'll talk about everything else that happens tomorrow at that point. But thank you so much for coming in. Love you all. Have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow.